champions of our Freedom of Information Act join us on Conduit today to talk about the two-pronged approach in making Arkansas's FOIA the nation's strongest by enshrining its principles into our Constitution. Joining us today is Fort Smith attorney Jimmy McCutchen and another FOIA advocate, Jimmy Cavin. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Jenny. How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I'm so glad that both of you are here today. I want to talk about the proposed amendment as well as the proposed initiated act. First, Joey, I want to go to you. If you would just break down that proposed constitutional amendment for us.
Yeah, I think the proposed constitutional amendment, which is going to enshrine our Freedom of Information Act, our Sunshine Law, into the Constitution, is, I would say, in essence, two major concepts, and one that I really, really like in this people's law is this idea that our right to know is going to be enshrined in our Constitution. The right to transparency in our Constitution, to me, is just so important, and needs to be right up there with the other rights in our Constitution, which are extremely strong if you look at Article 2 in our Constitution. And I think the second thing it's going to do is, when our legislature wants to weaken our sunshine laws, then there's going to be a more stringent requirement, a 2/3 vote of that governing body and a vote before the people. So I think those are the two things that the constitutional amendment is going to accomplish. And I don't think you can mention one without the other when we talk about this. And I know we're going to talk about the initiated act in a minute, but we've got to pass, the people have to pass both of those, both the constitutional amendment and the initiated act. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, Jimmy, talk about the initiated act, if you would, and why that one's so important to get passed.
It's crucial, and as Joey said, they both go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And for this to work, they both have to work hand in hand. The initiated act is what actually puts laws on the books that we've designed to actually enhance the Freedom of Information Act for the people. The two biggest things in the act are, one, it finally gives us a definition of what a public meeting is. It's something that's been lacking. Joey's been working on that for over a decade to get that through. And so what it's designed to do, the one thing that people told us consistently is what they don't like is backroom meetings, smoke-filled rooms where decisions and deliberations are done outside of the public eye. Then they show up to a meeting and the vote's already been decided.
Yeah.
And the public doesn't like that. Too many backroom deals. We've seen it. That's how corruption breeds. Not saying all government bodies are corrupt, but that's how corruption breeds. So what this does is it gives guidelines to the governing body members, to the superintendents of schools, the mayors, the county judges, into what a meeting is, so what they can and cannot do. It doesn't affect information sharing. I'll give you an example. If a quorum court member, if the budget process is coming up before the quorum court and they contact the director of finances for the county and say, hey, the budget's coming up on the agenda, please send me the past 3 years' budgets with breakdowns on the numbers. That's not deliberation or discussion, that's information sharing. Now, if they say, hey, I want to meet with you, and the finance director and quorum court member meet, and the finance director goes over everything and they discuss what they're going to do with the budget and deliberate, and then he meets with another quorum court member and another quorum court member, that's not allowed.
Yeah.
And it's going to also affect the county judges, mayors, and superintendents, so they no longer can go have one-on-one meetings with the governing body members to sell their plan, discuss, deliberate, and come up with a decision before the meeting happens. That's no longer going to take place. The second part of that is the commission, which I think is probably one of the greatest ideas to happen, because now if I'm asking for a record or I have an issue with a public meeting, for me to do anything about it, thank God for Joey McCutchen, because Joey's actually represented me in cases and is representing me in one right now. That the citizen bears the burden of filing a lawsuit, going to court, paying the costs, and it's such a burden that every citizen can't do that. So this establishes a commission where if the citizen feels like that they've made a request, or the citizen feels like there's been a problem with open meeting that's violated the laws, now they can go to the commission at no charge to the citizen, and the commission will act as a body to determine what's happened. Was there violations? Did the government entity comply? Did they not? Did they violate the law? But what's key on both of these in the initiated act is the penalty phase. We've never had teeth in the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act to hold bad actors accountable. This will actually create a $1,000 fine to anyone who knowingly or purposely violates the Freedom of Information Act. But the government entity doesn't pay it, the taxpayer doesn't pay it. This comes out of their pocket personally. That's a huge, and that's what the people said they want.
That's huge. And I think that commission is such an invaluable resource. I know Joey particularly has represented so many people in these FOIA cases. I know of a few, as well as Robert Steinbuck has. And so I think that commission is incredible. I want to go back, though, to the meetings. Joey, I know we've had you on Conduit to talk about the meetings issue. I know that when the group was meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there was discussion that, and I think that not that there was pushback, but that there were questions raised about that part being included, even during the special session. Getting that language in a bill, it was a bit of an uphill conversation. Tell us why that is. Why was that so hard to get included? Why is there such resistance? Why was there such resistance to having that language included?
Well, I think over the years, I mean, the Supreme Court has not really done us a whole lot of favors in terms of defining a meeting. And I think they look at cases on an individual basis. And, they made it clear back in 2011, I believe, that in one of our cases, that it was the legislature's job to define a meeting. And they've been resistant to that concept, and creating a definition which would not only help the people, which is what this is about, but it would also help our governing bodies so that it's extremely clear as to what a meeting is. Because really it's been so confusing with Supreme Court decision over the years after Supreme Court decision, and not knowing what a government meeting is. But this clarifies it. And so the people are in effect doing the legislature's job here. And it's something that needs to be done. And again, I think it's helpful for both sides. When we say two or more cannot meet to discuss our public business, in essence. There's probably varying reasons why particularly bad actors don't like this definition, because it's clear, and it demands that our public business be discussed in a public meeting, not on secret email chains, as I've repeatedly seen in lawsuits, or text message chains, or the back of McDonald's. The last case that we took up to the Supreme Court, it pretty much gave a license to have secret meetings. And one of the justices, in fact, said that secrecy is a poison to our democracy. And so I'm excited that the people have chosen to put this, the definition of a meeting into this law.
Yeah, one thing that, and you mentioned that the people have chosen to do this. Jimmy, talk about the importance of the people being so involved. You know, we talked about how the attorneys may have drafted it, that the citizens group, you know, really went around the state and really facilitated the work. But talk to us about how this is really the people's amendment.
It truly is. As I said a little earlier, when we held these town hall meetings around the state, we said, what do you want in your FOIA? What do you want in the Freedom of Information Act? And they told us everything in the amendment, everything in the act is what the people came to us was. So this is one of the few amendments that is literally truly citizen driven. It was born of the citizens. If it's passed, it will be because of the citizens and the people. And that's something that government inherently doesn't like, because it takes away power from them and transfers it back into the hands of the people where it belongs. Special interest groups don't like it. While the people have said, yes, we want these open meeting laws. This is what we want. The pushback comes from mayors, county judges, school superintendents, and those governing boards with them. And how they push back over the years through the legislature is use their special interest groups to lobby for them. The Arkansas Municipal League, the Arkansas Association of Counties, the Arkansas School Board Association, just to name three. That's the reason when Joey talks about the legislature, we've tried and tried and tried. Joey's been a warrior at the legislature to get these laws, similar laws passed. And the pushback, the legislatures wouldn't do it because of those special interest groups lobbying them. What you saw at the last regular session and the special session is you saw a different special interest group show up, the people's special interest group, the people representing themselves as a special interest group for them. And it really resonated. And so the legislature, while they won't, most of them won't come out and publicly say it, are going, okay, we're going to concede this to the people for one big reason, Jenny, is because it doesn't apply to them. Everything that we're doing in this amendment in the initiated act doesn't apply to the state legislature, doesn't apply to the governor. And so they're kind of stepping back out of the way. So the pushback now is from the mayors, the school superintendents, the county judges, the city council people, Arkansas Municipal League, Arkansas Association of Counties, Arkansas School Board Association. That's where the people's opponents are. We cleared AG heard them. We've told the legislature, look, this isn't going to apply. We made it clear in the amendment, this doesn't apply to you. At that point, they kind of backed up. The initiated act is where that fight is, because government inherently does not want people to have the power. And this initiative is taking the power back and putting it in the hands of the people where it belongs.
Joey, I read an article from Masterson in the DMGAS, and you were quoted by saying, we're still talking about the theme of the people and the government. You said the people enforcing Griffin by a lawsuit symbolize a continued theme of the people versus Griffin and versus the government. And you said, quote, our government has forgotten our state motto, the people rule, and we are forcibly reminding them. Talk to us about that.
Well, it just seems that at every step, whether it's a special session, this last special session, I mean, it's stacked up. The people, every person that testified against that horrendous bill was the people. And everyone on the other side was government. And it seemed to be led by our attorney general. And, you know, that was a battle. That was a battle that the people prevailed in, because the people know that our right to know is what holds government accountable. And then we face another battle. The people through the committee did a wonderful job in going to the people and asking what the people wanted. And then we had this hurdle we had to go up through the AG. I mean, the constitutional amendment was not misleading in the least bit. we know what transparency means. Come on. The initiated act was not misleading, yet we had to go before the Attorney General numerous times, and quite frankly had to file a lawsuit, which sent the message that the people are not playing around, that this is important, and we've vetted this through the people, and it's a people's law, and the people rule.
Do y'all anticipate any legislators or any elected officials coming out and supporting this?
I think you're going to have some, okay, and I think it's going to be more at the local level,
okay,
than it will at the state level, and that you really touched on something, because this truly is a campaign issue in 2024. That people that are running for election or re-election need to answer. And so I think when you get more down to the local level, where people are more connected, the governing body members and the local politicians are more connected with the people in their community, because they see them at church, they see them at Kroger's, they see them at ball games. It kind of forces the issue where they're going to have to. The question to pose to each one of them is, do you support the amendment? And if they say no, then the question should be, explain to me why the people shouldn't have a constitutional right to transparency. Explain to me your reasoning why they shouldn't have that right. Because if you're not for the amendment, you're saying you're not for them having that right. Give me that answer. Explain to them. That's going to be a hard question for those folks to answer.
Yeah. We were talking offline about it, about how one way or the other that this will be a defining issue on the ballot for those running for office. Absolutely.
And I think Joey agree. It's going to be hard pressed for a mayor or a county judge or city council person or a court or school board member, a superintendent, to look people in the eye and say, no, we're not for you having the right. I think Joey would agree with that as well.
100%. And I think those questions need to be asked of every person running for office. And organizations like Conduit, Family Council, this needs to be on their report card, and it needs to be a litmus test, in my estimation. They need to. This needs to be a criteria, and I think that the questions need to be asked, and a public commitment from our legislators on down to the mayors, school board members, county judges, county people. Every elected person needs to be asked those questions that Jimmy talked about. Do you support this constitutional amendment? And if not, why not?
Family Council did include it on their Family Council did include it on their voter guide for this year. And during the special session, the most recent special session, where the governor included her FOIA bill, Conduit did come out and say that moving forward, any issues involving government transparency and accountability, those would be the most weighted scores in Conduit's legislative scorecard. And the caveat was, Conduit said, we never thought that there would be an issue with conservatives voting against government transparency and accountability, but yet here we are. And so moving forward, those will be included in Conduit in the
Can I follow up on that? Can I follow up on that real quick? Yeah, and thank you, Conduit, for doing that. Okay, and taking the lead on that, and saying not only we're going to keep a scorecard on it, but it's going to weigh heavy. This is an important issue, and so thank goodness for Family Council, asking those questions. But what the people need is other organizations that portray themselves for the people to stand up and do the same, and take the lead that Conduit's doing, And so what we need is organizations like American Prosperity, the Arkansas chapter. Are they going to score this? Opportunity, Nick Horton at Opportunity Arkansas. Are y'all going to score this for the people? So we need for people to follow Conduit's lead, and these organizations step up and score this.
Yeah. Let's talk to us about moving forward. Over 90,000 signatures need to be collected. Am I correct in that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
90,000 for that, and I think 73,000 or 90,000 for the amendment. I think 73,000 for the act.
Okay.
Signatures, they're separate in the sense that you have to have.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Because it's a two-pronged approach. Talk to us about messaging, getting out there into these counties, county coordinations. How can people get involved? What do we need to do from now until turning all of those in?
Yeah, I think we're going to be going across the state, speaking to groups involving. We would like to have a coordinator, a team coordinator, if not in every county, in every Senate district. And those people will organize and spearhead are the votes that we're going to need. As Jimmy said, 90,000 for the constitutional amendment, 90 plus some change, 70,000 for the initiated act. So we've got a lot of work to do, but we're excited. The people have been responsive, and we've won one battle, and now we're moving to the next, because we've got it now. It's in the people's hands, and we've got till July 5th to get these signatures. So we don't have much time.
Yeah. Jimmy, can people still get involved in the Facebook group? Would that be a good resource if they want to get plugged in the website?
Yes, got to the
Can you give us that info?
Yes, the Arkansas Transparency Group Facebook page. Anybody can go join it.
Okay.
But here's what the people really need.
Okay, tell us.
This amendment and initiated act is different than, say, the marijuana and the casinos, because you had big money funneling in to support those for advertising, promotion, paying for canvassers to go get petitions, because that was an investment that they were going to get a financial return on.
That's right.
The return here, it's harder to get big donors because there is no financial return. This is for the people. The return is what I call an investment in freedom. And so the dividend will pay off in more freedoms and rights for Arkansans. What people can do to help themselves to win this for the people will take the people. So here's what our group, the Arkansas Citizens for Transparency Group, is not going to get this done. The people will. What we're here to do, what Joey's here to do, I'm here to do, and the committee's here to do, is to provide the people the resources and tools they need to go win this. So here's what needs to happen. This is a grassroots fundraising event. So you can go to our website, Arkansas Citizens for Transparency, and there's a link to go to donate. $5, $15, $20, $50. Whatever you can give is going to be crucial. The second thing is the people desperately need volunteers to go out and gather signatures. Once we get some money, and we can hopefully hire a canvassing group, which takes a lot of money, to go out and gather signatures. But this is truly grassroots. We need the folks to go out and gather signatures. We've got the process that we'll be posting very shortly, a short training video, a one-page guide. It's easy. Anybody can do it, but it's going to take that grassroots effort. We don't have the money the marijuana and casinos have. And that's not what we're about. We're not about, we're about power for the people.
Right. This is a people's amendment. So we need the people.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else that you guys want to add before I let you go?
I would just like to say this and reiterate. There's one thing I think that gets missing, and Joey touched on it, is this initiated act. It's not let's go get the government. Okay. It's not let's go get the government. what we're trying to provide as the people is guidelines for the government. So when they talk about, the argument will be, this makes government less efficient. What we're trying to do is make government less efficient. Less efficient at what? Hiding things? Okay. What actually this does is makes government more efficient in following the intention of the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act. We are actually providing government tools to be better at transparency and guidelines to help the government. So when you hear that argument, this is going to hurt government efficiency. Well, first of all, you're going to have to prove to me where government's efficient to begin with, because it's not. But I think
You sound like you work at Conduit.
but my argument back is, look, this is the intent of the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act is clear. What the people want is clear. What the people are going to provide you is guidelines on how to be more efficient at this.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Joey, y'all are always welcome to come back on Conduit. Really appreciate it.
And I appreciate that. I mean, this is about accountability. It's about holding our government accountable. It's about us being able to see all the public's business. That's all we're asking. That's not a high bar to clear. Do your public business in front of us. The records that we've paid for through our hard-earned tax dollars, we want to see those records. And this is just very exciting. And I think the people of Arkansas are different. And we truly believe that the people rule, regnant populace. That's what this is all about. And we can truly, at this point, there's a fork in the road. And we will either have the strongest FOIA law in the country, or in my estimation, if this does not pass, government will come after us and we will have the weakest law in the country. And so the choice is clear and it's in the people's hands. And this is truly a grassroots campaign.
Jenny, I just want to thank you and Conduit, but especially you, because of what you do. It's people like you, it's people like Jennifer Lancaster that are truly leading the real conservative patriot effort, the real conservative Republican effort to do things right in our state. So I just want to personally thank you for that.
Oh, thanks, Jimmy.
Amen. Amen.
Y'all can, okay, that's fine. Y'all can come on again. That's fine. I'm just kidding. Well, hey, great. And thank you guys so much.
Thank
Talk to
you.
you soon. All right.